Crockett. Would you like to come up and join me on the stage? Rach started at TikTok just at the beginning of the year, but she's obviously, you look well-versed. You look well-versed in TikTok. And after many years working for NZME as well, has had a lot to do with the social environment and how to make it work. I've already got a couple of questions that have come through already on the app, so feel free to fire some more. And once Rach has delivered her presentation, we can do some questions at the end of it. I know I've got a couple of burning ones. Rach, all over to you.
Cool. Awesome. So thanks everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. As it was alluded to, I spent a few years working with the NZME events team, so it's quite nice and quite homely to be welcomed back to talk to the Events Association today. So my name is Rachel Crockett and I'm a Client Solutions Manager at TikTok New Zealand. I'm really excited to be here with you guys today to cover off everything about TikTok, what it is, how it can be used, and especially for you guys just using it in the event space as well. So right now in New Zealand, TikTok reaches more than half of all monthly internet users across the country. And we're really proud of that growth that we've experienced in this market alone. And we're also really proud about how we're ensuring brand safety on the platform as well. I'm just going to play this little video. It gives you a bit of a kind of sizzle reel about TikTok in New Zealand. So TikTok represents new opportunities for brands like your own to tell their stories and to grow. We've reimagined the way that stories are told, enabling advertisers to reach new audiences that are spending less time on other video platforms. Sound is obviously an essential component to storytelling, and it's also core to TikTok, an integral piece of how users interact with each other. Whether the content is organic or paid for, a 2021 Kantar US study showed that 73% of users said they would stop and look at ads on TikTok with audio. And it's significantly higher than any rate on any other platform. Cool. So today I'm just going to go through a bit of kind of what TikTok is, some local New Zealand stats that are the latest ones we could possibly get from July, which is pretty good. A bit about our ad products, a little bit about trends and creative best practice, and lastly we'll touch on some use cases for events. Firstly though, I've got a question for all you guys in the room. Put your hand up if you have TikTok. Cool. Now keep your hand raised if you've created a video or posted before. Okay, nice. Okay, so good to see. Our stats show that around 1 in 5 Kiwi users have created content on TikTok. Now, with TikTok, there's quite a few misconceptions that I'm kind of here to myth bust today. So let's get cracking on these. So firstly, TikTok is just another social media platform. While yes, we are technically categorised as social media, we see ourselves as an entertainment platform. It's the world's favourite community entertainment platform in the sense that brands don't only move audiences through the purchase experience, but they also build trust and relevancy through entertainment. And it's quite a full funnel experience. There's a shift happening with the way that we watch things. People are blazing new paths to new behaviours and new viewing habits. And from passive viewing to more personally relevant, instant entertainment that grabs your attention and connects you to others who often share the same information as you. And what we're finding is that they're seeking out entertainment that can be many things. It can be a connector, it can be a joy in the everyday mundane, and it can just be a way to inspire new ideas and experience new things. So yes, TikTok has changed entertainment in just a couple of short years. The beauty of TikTok, if you use it, is that everyone's experience is very unique. Most of us spend our time on the For You feed, which, let's be honest, can be an endless scroll of content that's curated just for you. Exposing your TikTok feed can be quite a vulnerable experience, so I won't pick on any of you guys, but I'll delve my own. Mine tends to be cat videos, not surprising, hashtag clean talk, which is also very riveting, and content from some of my favourite shows as well. But no matter what you're into, you'll find a community that shares that passion, and often you'll find communities that you didn't even know about or existed, but that you love. Ultimately, TikTok is not a social app. It's an entertainment app powered by the community. Most people compare us to the brands at the top there, but what we do is we define ourselves by how people use us. You don't necessarily check TikTok, you watch TikTok. So in that, users are immersed for long periods of time watching content with very undivided attention due to that crucial sound on function. You wouldn't go to TikTok to set up a coffee with a friend, but you would share a video with them that you think they may like. And that's where we kind of see, in a global research study, we found that TikTok is a unique experience or unique space away from both traditional social platforms and traditional entertainment avenues. And because of our thriving community, there's a fountain of new perspectives reaching hearts and minds every day. And it's not the same echoes of familiar voices that you find on other platforms. TikTok elevates the content, not the person. So the fact that we're more likely to inform a given person about a new perspective and voice is part of why TikTok shapes culture in a very powerful way. This is probably the most common misconception. I'm not going to do a dance for you guys or sing, but TikTok, misconception 2 is TikTok is just another singing and dancing app for teens. Does anyone in the room want to have a guess at where dancing sat in the top 10 TikTok categories last year? Anyone brave? Cool. Number 7. Globally, it was number 7 with 493 billion views. Any guesses for number 1? Comedy. So at a whopping 1.8 trillion views, comedy ranked number 1, followed by daily life at 3.7 billion, and then entertainment and culture, fashion and beauty, and actually gaming rounding up the top 5. And then the last misconception, it's hard to be creative on TikTok. Our mission is to inspire creativity and bring joy, and that's not just through dancing videos. We're doing this by redefining that entertainment. We're redefining that entertainment through authenticity, so bringing realness to the content. We encourage any user to bring their weird and wonderful selves to the platform, and users agree that they can be their true selves. Through community, it's what powers the platform and gives users a sense of belonging. Communities like hashtag clean talk, hashtag witch talk, teacher talk, and book talk are all growing in audience. And finally, through creativity, which fuels the passion of the communities and makes the content on TikTok unique. At TikTok, we provide the tools for content creation within the app to be a creator in everyone. We've seen a paradigm shift with the power to influence culture shifting from a few people to many. And in that, now everyone has the tools to create engaging content. So it's peer-to-peer. It's how you would speak to your closest friend. It's often lo-fi, just shot simply on your phone. Things like step-by-step and EduTalk are such a big part of the platform, where people are coming to learn something new. But also, it's crowdsourced, so you're actually inviting people to collaborate, and it's quite normal for the platform. And everyone has the tools and capabilities to create high-quality, engaging content on TikTok. It's just kind of how you do it is up to you. Cool. Now some juicy bits. So how are Kiwis engaging in the platform? As of July, we're reaching more than half of monthly internet users in New Zealand. Just a caveat here, the numbers on the screen are all for 18 plus. We don't report on anything for under 18s. There's around 5.6 million videos being created every month and uploaded to the platform, with an average of 12.5 billion monthly video views in New Zealand alone. When we look at the audience breakdown, female sits ever so slightly higher at 58% compared to male at 42%. And the majority of our audience sits in that kind of 18 to 34 bracket. However, each quarter we're seeing that 35 plus demographic steadily growing. A recently released study by Culture on the social media landscape in New Zealand actually stated that TikTok sees the biggest growth with baby boomers, and they're 5 times more likely to be using the platform than they were in 2020. We've also seen a growth across all generations, and we're actually one of the only platforms to do so. And TikTok is also the second platform of choice for all generations, apart from millennials. This one can be a bit of a scary statistic for some people, but as I said earlier, we class ourselves as an entertainment platform. So it's no surprise here that our users are spending over 100 minutes per day on the app platform. This is generally spread around kind of 20 app opens a day, but essentially we're shifting people's eyeballs from a movie to our platform. And in knowing how much time users are spending on our platform, we've put in place specific features for under 18s, such as daily, hourly settings and stuff like that. But it's quite an interesting stat in terms of how many people are watching it. Our users also can't be found on other platforms. So 63% of TikTok users aren't on Twitter or X, whatever it's called these days. 49% aren't on Snapchat. And what I found most interestingly is roughly 20% are not on Facebook or Instagram. Where we align the closest is with YouTube, with 5% of our audience not being there. And TikTok is fast becoming a new search engine for Gen Z, and I know that kind of search and some of the social app mix was mentioned in the last presentation, but it's really, TikTok is becoming a new search engine for authentic and personal point of views. And it's just been given that the TikTok algorithm is based on an interest graph, not a social graph. So the search results are more tailored to each user. As a result of this, 40% of Gen Z are using TikTok to search. Gen Z want to see a visual representation of something rather than read about it. And they believe that TikTok search is for discovery, whereas Instagram or Google provide validation. And it's important to note that the search functionalities in TikTok are just a very early iteration of search, and it's not quite comparable to some of the other search engines out there, but it's definitely something to watch out for. Cool. So now I'm just going to talk through a little bit about our ad products in the For You feed. So keep in mind that all of our ads are full screen, sound on, immersive experiences. This is essentially a sample of a user's For You feed when you come in. If you don't have TikTok downloaded and you download it today, you won't get any ads for the first 7 days, so just as it learns more about you. When you first open the app, you will kind of open the app, you may be served our premium ad unit, which is called the Top View. I'll talk to this in a second. But then once you pass through that, you're actually just in your feed, and you'll start to be served ads in between organic content. So as mentioned, the Top View is our first ad placement. It's the premium format in a noise-free environment. It showcases your brand for the first time that the app opens, and the experience launches with a 3 to 5 second video takeover before then kind of integrating into a native experience. Here's a bit of an example that we had for One New Zealand. Some of you guys may have seen this video, but the results are outstanding. It doesn't want to play. That's okay, we'll skip that one. It's basically just when they start doing the mean tweet style of video. It's quite an interesting one with 2 million impressions on the day. Our other ad units are called in-feed ads. So these can help a brand tell a story while being flexible in length and style. They're an immersive native format with call to action buttons to drive interaction or conversion or engagement, whichever you wish. They can be bought by a couple of different methods, and they show between organic or non-paid content. So auction is the most common buying method, where you can optimize towards traffic if you want to get ticket sales, if you want followers, if you just want someone who's going to watch 6 seconds of a video, if you want to reach the biggest audience. All these are kind of optimized towards low-cost results with no minimum spend thresholds and flexible campaign management. And the targeting and retargeting capabilities are also more precise with the auction-led campaigns. On the flip side, we also have reach and frequency campaigns, so they differ slightly in that you have more control over your campaign. Advertisers will see the predicted impressions, the reach, how much it's going to cost them, and the frequency in that the ads are going to be shown. And also, depending on what your budget, it will actually spit out exactly what you're going to pay for that. And with this, you can also show your creative sequentially to tell a story, or possibly purchase what we call the top feed, so the first ad to show in the kind of after the top view content. And I think it's also important to notice that you don't actually have to have an organic profile to be advertising on TikTok. We refer to 2 different types of ads as Spark ads and non-Spark. Essentially, Spark ads, not the telco, are the ones that are linked to your organic profile if you have one, so users can click off to your profile or your website. Whereas non-Spark ads are not linked to a profile and just send people to your website. So if you don't want to run organic activity, this is where you'd be. In saying that, our advice is always a mixture of organic and paid. Activity is the best approach. And by adopting a combination of both, you build a stronger brand resonance, reach new audiences, and maximise relevancy while scaling efficiency. So some clients we work with regularly post organic content to see what natural traction it gets, and then maybe put some money behind it to spark it to get those extra reach and results. But I'll show you some examples of some cool organic content later on. So culture and kind of TikTok speeds of culture is quite an important one. So what we've found is that some of the trends peak overnight, while some of the other cultural forces gradually may grow in influence. And we'll go through a few of the kind of speeds of culture and how they can be used in terms of TikTok. So trends play a huge role in TikTok, and especially in that path to purchase journey. With an example on the screen being retail in Australia is the example, we can see that 31% of Australian TikTok users interacted with a brand because of a trending video.
My Birkin.
That one's gonna play.
Another Birkin.
So we're famous for our trends, and when you think of TikTok trends, you most likely are thinking of a trending sound, like the Birkin versus Birkin video, maybe a filter or a concept, so maybe the ring light challenge or the AI filters. And these really are what we're famous for. Some of the ones mentioned here, some notable ones that you might recall that get stuck in my head every time, but Corn Kid, everyone remembers that. Bad Hair Day, Excuse Me Bruh, and Cartoon Me. And while these trends often dominate the conversation, it can be really hard for brands to keep up. And in some cases, there's mere days to jump into a trend before it's gone forever. The shelf life of some of these popular trends in video formats on TikTok is shorter than ever, and that's just that fluidity of the platform means that unfortunately, there's no specific formula that guarantees success for brands. It's always what we're asked. So we've been around for long enough to notice how some trends come and go, but others represent something a bit more evergreen and something bigger, behaviours that tend to be repeated across categories. So what happened is the TikTok intelligence team based in New York had the sole role to track TikTok trends as well as broader cultural trends. And they introduced a new framework to define trends into moments, signals, and forces. So we'll go through these in the next slides. So moments are high participatory prompts or behaviours that take off quickly on TikTok and often end just as fast after mass saturation. They might deliver short-term attention and activity, and people who tap into them can have a really good organic presence on the platform. The videos that I'm going to show now is an example of the drop challenge, which started with one single creator and just kind of extended from there. Ooh. Can we get those to play? If not, no. Okay, we might just skip those. Okay. Sorry, just skip through these. They're not playing. So yeah, that's what kind of moments are. So then signals, these are ones that they turn evergreen. So the trends that have stuck and have become repeatable across different verticals. The example from the one case study, that was essentially taking a signal from somewhere else, using a Jimmy Kimmel mean tweet style video and incorporating that into TikTok. Signals, they cater to emerging user interests and expectations, so they hang around a little bit longer. They're not as fleeting. They can help brands get a better understanding of the nuances in their category and help you create natively for the platform. An example here is Ask TikTok, where a lot of the time people tap into the kind of portal of advice and perspectives that the platform has. And even though as humans we all like to think we're individuals, most likely someone has gone through a similar situation to us, and that's where the signal really shines. So users turn to the platform to hear stories and experiences of others to inform their own. And then lastly, forces. These are things that go way beyond TikTok. They're external. So they're enduring cultural transformations in culture. They are not just specific to TikTok, but TikTok may help accelerate them. For instance, seeing real people in advertising more so than airbrushed models. Forces help brands understand how they should be showing up on TikTok. Things like day in the life videos, just real life kind of examples, do really well in this experience. And before we finish up, I've got a few examples of how kind of trends are working, or things are working with events in TikTok. In New Zealand, over the last 12 months, there were a total of 6 million video views for hashtag events. 18 million for hashtag music festival. Things like hashtag festival talk is also a very popular category with 2 million views, obviously peaks and troughs at times. Hashtag food festival reached 140,000, and also even hashtag local events with 44,000. And you'll remember earlier on in the presentation, I said that we're big on community, and that's where these numbers, including hashtag talk ones, come into play as well. People don't really see a barrier to entry. Anyone can follow these hashtags, sing along, have a look at what's going on and follow along in content. And it's also useful for you guys to know these kind of hashtags. You can incorporate them into your content as well, with either organic or paid, and help drive some activity that way. I did a little bit of research in terms of the category, and we can see that TikTok's helping drive a unique view on events. Trends across the industry, we're seeing things like ASMR, so the video that's there is all around kind of balloon blowing up and kind of the sounds behind the scenes. Behind the scenes footage for the Field Days event was actually quite good. Bit of humour, which again tops into that top trend. And people just love, again, just seeing that humour and comedy, and just we're all real people. What goes on behind the scenes in an event that you might not know, for example. Oh, these ones. Very different examples of how you can kind of create content. One from just this is how we're setting up, to what it looks like on the day behind the scenes, or more of a nicely polished kind of pre-event activity. I pulled another 3 examples for you, all again very different in terms of executions on the platform. The first example that is hopefully going to play was actually a really recent ad that we ran for Love Racing. It ran in our top view position just on the weekend just being. Friday James.
What up, Auckland?
What's up, New Zealand?
If you ready, make some
And lastly, Winetopia.
Need to break down. If you can turn my dust to gold, take me there I'm sold. Open up my money down, take a risk and lose it all. Turn my dust to gold, baby, come and rock my world. Open up my money, Lord. I'm finding it hard to misbehave. If I let my guard down.
Yeah, that one. So in terms of creating content, best practice is really just kind of create content that blends into the platform's culture, but stands out in the consumer's mind. And that's how customers kind of find success in virality. And the best ways to shine in our platform is really keep it fun and entertaining, inspire the community to learn something new or about your brand or anything like that. Kick off, launch your events and everything, give them a bit of a teaser, a bit of taste of what's to come if you can. And even just sharing the real side of your brand with consumers. I think especially for Kiwis, we're very somewhat humble and we like to know what's going on, so sharing that real side can really kick through. And lastly, we'll make sure that you guys get all these links as well. There's plenty of resources available for you guys to help on your TikTok journey. Our TikTok Works platform has a lot of case studies and just generalised insights into audiences and different industries and different things like that. TikTok Creative Centre is possibly my favourite one. It's got all the inspiration in there, so it's got trending hashtags. You can look up a particular phrase and see kind of how many video views it's got and related content. It's got all the trending sounds and everything else in there as well. And then lastly, TikTok for Business. It's your go-to walking Bible of just everything TikTok for Business, how to get set up, Q&As, everything like that. And yeah, I think we have 5 minutes left for questions.
Which is
Hopefully they're not too spicy.
Thank you, Rachel. Not too spicy. Oh my goodness. I'm so old school, I have to work out what all these words means. Spicy, okay. That used to reference my butter chicken, but I think it means something a little more. Sorry, can I have a show of hands again? Who's on TikTok in the room? God, I'm such a loser. We talk about takeaways from this conference. I actually promise you that I will download TikTok today. One of the main reasons that I haven't is I'm terrified. My daily average screen time is absolutely horrific. And I'm addicted to Instagram, which feeds so perfectly into one of my questions that I've got through on the app. If you are watching a TikTok video on Instagram like I am, does it still count as TikTok views? Go.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
Completely different platform.
All right, well, that answers that question. That was really easy. We will try and put some of those stats. They were so great on your presentation so that delegates can have a look at those as well. What are you finding is the average time, thanks, Charlotte, that people are spending on the app by users?
I mean, our average is 100 minutes is what we're kind of told.
100 minutes over what
on a day.
time? On a day, 100 minutes a day.
Which is essentially, if you were to do that all in one go, you're watching a movie, which, being a TikTok user, especially for the last 8 months, not hard to do.
No, it's really easy to do.
Yeah.
I can watch 2 or 3 movies in one day. So it's about 100 minutes. Got you. What are some good examples, specific for this audience, good example of events that have used TikTok really well and really effectively?
I think even just the We Love Racing example from the weekend, they're new to platform, they've never tried that ad unit, they wanted to do something a bit different, and they wanted to launch a bit of a hype around their 3 events using things like that. And then I've also seen some in Australia, events using a lot of the inbuilt features like countdown stickers and whatnot, just to tease that events are coming, events are launching, maybe when tickets go on sale and stuff like that. So actually helping people through the journey is quite important.
To come back to kind of me, I think, Stacey, you're probably talking about me. She's asked, how can she get her boss, who is a different generation, to see the value in marketing on TikTok and to keep up with the TikTok trends?
It's definitely something we come across on a daily basis. Yeah. I think it's be a champion of, social media and content and entertainment yourself. I think it's about encouraging people to think about their audience, not just themselves, and actually going, okay, what is my audience? And I think, Kat, you mentioned it in the marketing mix one, knowing what your objectives are and everything at the start, and actually going, who do I want to target? Where are they? And then kind of help them through that journey in that way, in terms of knowing where the audience is.
Right, that is disseminating information. Interestingly enough, as I mentioned in my day job, I do get to interview some really hot men. Did I mention that? And I did Pedro Pascal quite recently. And it was a lovely, as an interview, let me be clear, it was in a hotel room, but it was an interview. And we had a conversation at the end of that interview, which was specifically about my nail colour, which I didn't think was a big deal. When the interview went back to the newsroom, Daniel Rutledge and Taylor, who head up News Hub socials and online, they clipped that one little bit of the interview and put it up on TikTok, and I went to bed and woke up the next morning
viral.
and I was a TikTok star, and I still don't have the app. It wasn't actually about me, clearly. It was about Pedro Pascal and his love of a good manicure. But if you take somebody that's got that much reach and across so many different generations...
He became a meme in
He was a meme. He was the daddy of the internet, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. 20 years of hard graft, and I went viral because of my fingernails and Pedro. So what does it take? Obviously that's a random opportunity, but what does it take to go viral?
Unfortunately, I know this is an answer no one wants to hear, there's no secret sauce. There is no, if you do X, Y, Z, you will go viral. I think the clients that we've seen, or industries that we've seen really tackling the platform and getting good traction are the ones who immerse themselves in the platform, understand how our audience, what they're watching, what they're doing. Even creators are the same. Like if you work with creators, trusting in them to understand what they know about the platform. So really in terms of going viral, there's no golden rule. It's the hardest one.
Is secret sauce another bit of lingo that I also now need to take home?
Yeah,
Are all TikTok lingo references food related? Spicy and secret.
Pretty much, yeah.
Asking,
marketing in general.
Asking for a friend. This is a good one. How do you know where the line is when it comes to your brand and your events? There's a potential when you chuck it out into the internet or TikTok. Once it's out there there for good. So how do you mitigate any kind of reputational risk there?
I think we've got things in place, in terms of if you don't want negative comments, you can turn comments off. If you don't want people downloading your videos, you can turn them on. But really we encourage our users to have a bit of a play. I mean, there's no penalty. If you don't put money behind things, we're not going to kick you off the platform. If you put money behind something and you don't like how it's going, you can delete it, you can turn it off, and it will cease to exist. So there is a lot of kind of flexibility in that sense. And working with brands as well, a lot of brands have been scared in the past to test the boundaries. But if you look at One New Zealand's TikTok, they do a lot of pushing those boundaries with their CEO, getting them in some interesting instances, but they just have a bit of fun with it, and they've got that trust from high up as well.
I think, and in fact, this is the last question. We've literally got 13 seconds to go, and it's from Reese, and I feel you, Reese, wherever you are. Is it possible for your TikTok to suck? So that's one of the reasons why I don't go on to TikTok, or do you just go for it and just hope for the best?
That's why I don't post personally, because mine probably suck. But from a brand perspective, I've seen some very interesting content, and again, you may go viral, no one may see it. It kind of doesn't suck as a, I don't know. It could be anyone.
But people will see it. I mean, can you take it? It's up there forever, isn't it?
You can take it down.
You can take it down. Okay, I'll join TikTok on that
There we go.
basis alone. I will suck and I will take it down. I feel empowered.
lurk in the background.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you.
Rachel, thank you so
Thank you.
much for sharing. Thanks for all your interactive questions. I'm sorry we didn't have time for them all, but Rachel's around if you want to hit her up. It is time for afternoon